welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. I am so glad, as always, that you are staying tuned for one of my videos, and I am super excited to share the information in today's video, as I have experienced it 3 times, and I really hope it helps all you mamas out there if you are about to go through it, or whether it's your first time or your second time, third time, whatever time it is. I really hope that this video helps you. Before we get into today's video, please don't forget to subscribe, click that bell notification, like this video, and thank you so much for your support. It really helps our family out by you subscribing and staying tuned to all of our videos. I do post weekly every Friday. So let's hop right into today's video, but first, coffee. I literally just finished this. This is my new fave. It's the cinnamon caramel nitro cold brew at Starbucks. It is so amazing. While you're at it, don't forget to check out my socials: Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, Facebook, you name it. I am on those, and it's Pieces of Jade across the board. I share things, all things motherhood and lifestyle, so go ahead and stay tuned over there as well. All right, so tips for postpartum, to have the best postpartum that you can have. And before we get into those tips, I just want to start out by saying that everyone's experiences are different, and these tips are based off of my experience as a mom of 3 and what I have gone through. But I just want to tell you that each one of my postpartum phases has been different. After each baby, it literally has been different for each baby, and I will go into some of the differences at the end of this video. So if you want to hear about my experiences with each one, then stay tuned at the end of the video. So with that being said, since everyone does have a different experience, there are going to be some things that you think may benefit you more that I may not mention in this video. So tip number 1, and I think a lot of people know this, is ask for help, okay? Make sure before you have your baby that you write out a list also of everything that you think that you're going to need help with, and try to correlate that before you have your baby. Just like we prepare for our birth, our hospital bag, all of these different things, preparing for postpartum is very important, and it's something that I think a lot of moms forget. Trust me, I am guilty of this too. We don't think about ourselves, and we don't plan for the postpartum area. We plan about for baby. What do we need for baby? What do we need for our birth? What do we need for our hospital bag? What do we need during our hospital bag? We don't think about the postpartum part, which is actually one of the most important parts, and the reason why I wanted to share this video with you in hopes of helping other moms know exactly what they need to think about. But yes, ask for help. Make a list of all the things you think that you may need help with, from sleeping, getting sleep at night, maybe watching your other kids if you have multiples, you name it, anything, picking up groceries, dry cleaning, whatever it is. Just make a list of some things that might look different for everyone that you think that you'll need help with, and make sure that you have that lined up. Not just, of course, people think about this, making sure that they have somebody to watch their kids while they are at the hospital for 2 to 3 days or whatever it may be. You also need to think about the postpartum phase as well. So yes, definitely ask for help. The next one on my list of tips to have the best postpartum is prep before you have your baby, so everything is within reach. Prep your house. You need to make sure you prep your house. This is so important, and I cannot stress this enough, because you are going to have a lot of hormones going on. You may not be in the best mood at all. Trust me, you're going to be all over the place, sleep deprived, so many different things, struggles with your baby, because every baby's different. There's going to be different things that arise that you didn't even think about. So you want to make sure that you have your house prepped as much as you can from it being cleaned. I recommend maybe having a family member help you with making sure your house is clean, so when you come home from the hospital, you have a really nice, clean and organized atmosphere, so you don't have that stress. Now, of course, your house is going to get disarrayed, especially if you have multiples, and I'm not saying to focus on that, but I'm just saying it's going to help you when you come home from the hospital. Make sure you have different stations set up around your house, maybe a breastfeeding station, maybe a bedside station where you have different things that you're going to need, all your essentials within reach. So like I said, that may look different for everyone, but for example, one thing for me, I had where the bassinet and the baby's area all set up. I had a little caddy by my bed or maybe in my nightstand that had all of my essentials, not only for the baby, but for myself. Diapers, hand lotion, you name it, any little thing. Maybe in your living room, you want to set up something as well. I did that. If you have upstairs, downstairs, you want to make sure maybe you have all your essentials downstairs for yourself and baby and upstairs. So not just for your baby, for yourself as well. There's going to be little things that you don't want to run upstairs for or run downstairs for. So you want to make sure you have all those little things set up. And I also, before I forget to mention, I have so many things in my Amazon storefront. I have the link in the description box below of a lot of different postpartum things, pregnancy things that I loved and that I used during my pregnancies and postpartum. So if you want to check those out, definitely check out my Amazon storefront. And these things also can be, that's in one of my next tips. So yes, making sure that you have everything in reach, definitely important. Now moving on to my third tip is evaluate your expectations and know that every baby is going to be different and recovery is going to be different. Now if this is your first baby, you're gonna, experience these things as you have your multiple babies, if that's your plan. But me as a mom of 3, after having 3 kids, each experience was different. One may be harder than the other, and I'm sure if you're mom of multiples, you understand exactly what I am saying. But you want to make sure you know what your expectations are and know that, it might not always end up being how you thought it was going to be. And you just want to prepare yourself mentally to be ready for anything. I'm not saying lower your expectations, but just evaluate your expectations and how you think it's going to look, and make sure that you're open-minded. And your recovery may be different. You know what I mean? It may look different than what you thought it was going to be. Mental health is very important, and that has a lot to do with how your postpartum recovery goes. Is if you have a really good mental health and understand what your expectations are. One thing you want to make sure to do is, if you are mentally prepared and know that it might be different than how you think it's going to be, make sure that you're in the present moment. Okay, if something arises, your baby is a horrible sleeper, they're not sleeping at all, but your other babies were like amazing by 3-4 months, just stay in that moment and try to evaluate it in that moment, and know that it's going to pass, and do the best that you can to evaluate the situation and see and try different things that are going to help alleviate that situation. But if you're spending all your time just being miserable and being like, oh, like whatever, then you're not going to actually enjoy the moment, and it goes by so fast. And that's one of the things about postpartum is you may be super tired, you have all these hormones going on. Staying present in the moment and mentally evaluating your expectations and everything is going to help you feel your best and be happy, knowing that moment is going to pass and you want to enjoy everything, and just you can make decisions in the moment and know that even if you can't find something that helps whatever situation you're going through or whatever obstacle you're tackling during that postpartum stage, know that it will pass and it's not going to be like that forever. So you want to look back on it knowing that you enjoyed it the best that you can, rather than wishing that you weren't in a bad mood every day, So that is definitely one of my tips. The next one, this is going to be tip number 4, is share your responsibilities with your partner. You need to make sure you have a conversation with them before, so you know what both of your expectations are. And a lot of people don't really think about this, like, yeah, my husband's gonna help, but you have to make sure you are on the same page, because you may assume that your husband's going to help, and I'm sure that they do, but are they going to help you in the way that you want them to? They may not know what that looks like. You know what I mean? Even if you have multiple babies and that you've been through it together, like I said, every baby is different. Every experience is different. So it's something that you want to sit down and have a conversation with your husband, spouse, before you have your baby, so you can, you know, evaluate both of your mental health and evaluate what your expectations are and what you may need help with, and what's important to you for you to need help with. You know, if that, and that's going to look different for everyone. For me, you know, I want to make sure that I have quality time with my baby, and I need to make sure that my other kids are being taken care of. So I need to make sure that my husband understands that I am going to need him to take care of my other kids a lot more, because I want to make sure that I'm bonding with my baby the way that I want to bond, and I'm having that time with them instead of constantly being pushed in different directions. So that was something that was really important to me, and that I made clear to him that I need to make sure that I have this time. So definitely talk with your husband and have kind of a plan of how you may handle things, and know that there's going to be things that come up that you've never experienced before. So communication is definitely key when it comes to that, because the postpartum phase can be very stressful and hard on your relationship with your husband. But if you're talking about it and communicating, they can understand where you are at mentally. All right, so tip number 5, make sure you have stuff that is going to make you feel good. And this can be anywhere from vitamins to makeup to whatever it is. Make sure that you want to feel good, because after you have a baby, it's a lot on your body, and just having things that you know that are going to make you feel good is going to help the situation. It's going to make you feel better, and not just, especially if it's your first baby and your body's not going to look the same. You're just going to have a lot of hormones going on. You may not feel as pretty or as sexy or whatever the reason is. Just have things that are going to make you feel good. Me, I made sure that I had my eyelashes done, because I didn't want to fool with putting on makeup every day, but I wanted to still look cute, and that's eyelashes. You know, I made sure that my hair was done before I gave birth, so I felt, it's just all about how you feel. I made sure I had some cute lounge wear, because I knew that I wasn't going to want to get dressed, but I wanted to still feel cute, so I made sure I had that. I made sure that I had vitamins for postpartum care. I have some of these linked in my Amazon storefront, but just some, postpartum vitamins that will help with your mood. There's different brands. I think it's called Pink Stork is a really good brand. I think that's the brand that I used. I made sure that I had all my breastfeeding stuff. That goes back to my other tip with making sure that you have all your stuff set up. All the products that is going to make you feel the best, because there's going to be certain things that you're uncomfortable with, breastfeeding your boobs, getting, engorged. You want to make sure you have things that alleviate that. All your postpartum care stuff. So I'm not talking about just the postpartum care, because most people usually prepare for all of that, especially these days with all the different lists and videos and stuff that help you prepare for that. I'm talking, with this tip, I'm mainly talking about things that are going to make you personally feel good, and that may look differently for everyone, not just your postpartum care. I'm talking about the other stuff. For some people, maybe having a nice tan or something, making sure they have a tan before they give birth. That's going to make them feel better about themselves. Whatever it is, everybody has their thing that they need to have done that is going to make them. Your nails, pedicure, manicure, that's a good one. I definitely needed to make sure that I had my nails done and a pedicure before I had my baby, because I didn't want to have to mess with any of that, and I wanted to make sure that I felt my best. All right, so moving on. Before I move on to the last tip that I have for this video, is another product that's really good that will help with just getting to feeling back like yourself and getting everything healthy and moving back together, because you just had a baby in your stomach for 9 months, is a girdle. I have one. I will link one that I used. I believe it's by Belly Fit. I got it in 2 different sizes that I really enjoyed. I still actually wear it to this day. Right now, my third baby is 12 months old. It's a year old. So I actually still wear the smaller size that I got. I got a bigger size and a smaller size. I still wear that today. And one other thing that I want to mention is that your postpartum recovery obviously is going to look different than everyone else's. So, you know, don't expect to bounce back. Don't have that goes back to my other expectation tip. And I just want to say this because it popped into my mind. I didn't actually have that planned in the video, but before I go on to my last tip is, don't also have the expectation that you're going to bounce back in a few months. Some people take, you know, maybe 6 or 7 months to feel like themselves again. Some people take a year, some people take 2 years. It looks different for everyone. You know, I can say from my personal experience that I'm just now with my third baby. She's a year old, and I am just now starting to feel like myself again. I will get into this in a minute, so stay tuned. But she was definitely my hardest baby in postpartum recovery out of all of them. But I will get into the differences between my babies in a minute, just to give you a little look to see how it can be different with every baby. So on to the last tip. Start exercising and moving around as soon as you can, because the sooner that you're able to do that, again, make sure you're cleared by your doctor to start doing some maybe minimal exercising and then work your way up. Because the sooner that you start doing that, the sooner you're going to start feeling like yourself again and having more energy. Usually they clear you to start exercising, I think about 6 to 7 weeks, depending on if you had a C-section or a regular vaginal birth. It just really depends, but definitely listen to your doctor before you do any type of movement. But as soon as your doctor clears you, I would start getting together like some type of schedule for yourself. Whenever you can fit that into your schedule, it's very, very important. And any little thing will help. Going for a walk, doing some stretches, whatever it is, anything, it will definitely help you in feeling like yourself and getting back to a good routine. So yeah, those are my 6 tips for having a happy postpartum, making it easier on yourself. And a lot of it really is mental, and you'll know what I'm talking about once you're in hot and heavy in the postpartum phase. So before I get into this video, I just want to spend a few minutes just talking about my experience with my kids. So I have 3 kids if you're new to my channel, and my daughter is 5, so she was born in 2018. She's 5, my first baby. I have a 3-year-old son born in 2020, and then I had my 1-year-old that was born last year, 2022. So my pregnancy as well as my postpartum look different for all of them. We're going to talk mainly about my postpartum. So with my first, I didn't really know what to expect. I kind of went into it blind. I wasn't really into social media or all the YouTube videos and lists and all of that. So I kind of just went into it based off of, you know, just reading a few things here and there. I took a class at the hospital, whatever. But my postpartum wasn't that bad. I healed. I had a regular vaginal birth, a little bit of tearing. I got some stitches, and I was pretty good in about 3 weeks. I felt pretty good. Hopped right back, started working out about 7 weeks. Honestly, was not that hard at all. I was like, okay, cool. Wasn't that hard. I did struggle a little bit with, I think the only thing I really did struggle with my first is time management. And I wanted, you know, during my maternity leave, I wanted to like get the house clean, do this project, do that project. And it was my first baby. And I remember feeling like, man, I don't know how I'm going to have the time to do this and this and this. And I just remember feeling like, you know, it was hard. And now looking back, you know, now I know now that you want to make sure you spend every moment with your baby as possible, because that baby stage goes by so quickly. So yeah, that was my first one. Then my second one, I'm like, okay, I'm going to be more present. I'm going to really enjoy that baby stage, because, you know, I'm not going to worry about all the cleaning and all of this and all of that. You know, I just want to be in the moment with them. I had a really hard physical recovery after my son. He was a 9-pound baby, over 9 pounds, and I ripped really bad, and I had a lot of stitches. And plus they had me on iron because I lost a lot of blood. So my physical recovery was really hard with him. So it took me a good couple months to really like be completely healed down there, and just it was hard. But after that, it was good. You know, he was a good sleeper. He was probably my best sleeper, my son. My daughter was pretty good. Both my daughter and my son slept the night about 4 months. They were pretty good sleepers, nothing out of the norm, really good babies. And yeah, but it was really bad physically. It was probably my worst postpartum, like with my physical healing. But after a couple months, about 2 or 3 months, I was good. Started exercising again and feeling like myself again, and it wasn't really that bad. Now, my third pregnancy was my hardest mentally. I had her so those 2 births were medicated. I had epidurals. With her, she was 11 days early, and I was just not mentally prepared. I don't know, it did not go at all like I thought it was going to go, because I'm like, this is my 3rd baby, I know what to do, blah, 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 whatever. I did all the same preparations and everything, but I was not mentally prepared at all. So I ended up getting to the hospital way too late, and it was my fault. And I couldn't get an epidural. I was too far along. And so I had to have her unmedicated, which was so painful. It is like, if you're watching this and you've had an unmedicated birth, you understand how I feel, because it was my first time feeling that, and it was just very, very hard on my body. Like, I was so tired, and I didn't really get to enjoy my hospital stay or any of that, or really enjoy those first couple of days with her, because I was just so tired. But I will say the healing process is a lot faster whenever you're not when you don't have a medicated birth, whenever you have the epidural is what I'm saying. So I did heal a lot faster. Like, literally I felt good within a couple weeks as far as healing, my stitches and everything. So I would say that was really good. Probably out of all my kids, the healing was the best. But the way that I felt, like, mentally was the worst. Like, I just was mentally drained. I was just mentally not okay. I was just like, oh my gosh, I've never felt this way before. Like, I never really got baby blues until this pregnancy. Like, I don't know, I just felt like completely different than all my pregnancies. But I also feel like with the epidural, you kind of feel like you're on this cloud 9. I don't know if it's also, I think it helps with like all the hormones and everything, but because I didn't have that, I didn't have that cloud 9 feeling. Don't get me wrong, I was so excited to have her and everything, but it was just really hard. Then I'm like, okay, things will get better. I'm gonna go home, get some rest, whatever. It was just really hard. In short, it was really hard having a 3rd baby and having 2 toddlers. I had a 2-year-old and 2-year-old, 4-year-old, or almost 4-year-old at the time, and it was just a struggle. And I actually didn't have the talk with my husband. That's why I suggest having that, because it was just really hard, and we should have been more in sync with each other, and we weren't. So it can definitely be really hard in a relationship, and it's something that we talked about, and we're stronger today. It did make us stronger in the end, but when you're in the moment, you don't feel like that. So it was definitely a really hard year. And not only that, she didn't sleep. She didn't start sleeping through the night until recently. So she was my worst sleeper. So it added to all of it. So it's like I'm just now feeling like I'm back to myself, because I went a year being sleep deprived, just a lot of stuff going on. So yeah, each pregnancy was definitely different, and I would love to hear your take on it. If you want to comment below, I love to hear everyone's birth stories and their experiences, and that's what we are. We're a mom community, and I love hearing everyone's experience. So comment below what your experience was postpartum. If you have any tips of your own, I would love to hear them as well. If you've made it this far in this video, thank you so much, and if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe.